Greetings and salutations and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders live at the time from Empire's Comics Vault. My name is, of course, David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. I am joined this evening by a full house. First to my left, we have...
I'm getting first dibs. It's Amy. You can find me at IJNewRobot on varying social media. If you're feeling feisty, it's a universal handle, which means if you type that in, you could probably find me on almost everything. Almost is the operative word. Also, I can't see anybody past that section, so brace yourselves. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be weird. All the way over to the far right, Olayoop, the man, the myth, the legend.
We've got one advantage. He's coming to us. This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
That was a reference from this thing that we're going to be talking about.
It was a reference. I'm not going to try to follow that up with a quote because we know how that goes when I do it. I'm Manderson. You can follow me on Twitter, on Twitter at Son of Mander. This guy over here. What's up, man?
That was quick.
This is Curtis at Skipintosh and at Existential Romeo. It changed.
I gotta change the. I gotta change the place. I like that. I like it. I just
They
gotta
all
change
have
it.
expiration dates on them. They're never.
I gotta know
permanent.
what Skip and Tosh means.
They all get a deeper meaning to them. So we are your number one, supposedly, allegedly, rumored to be podcast for anything comic book related and. Or anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can find it at thecapelesscrusaders.com. That is your hub for anything Crusader related. You can find our blogs, our news stories. You can find everything. Yeah, it's down at the bottom.
It's in the middle.
I'm going to make it a little bigger. But you can get everything related to us. You can get all of our social media feeds. You can get all the interviews that I just did this past week. Multiple local creators for Free Comic Book Day coming up this week.
You did a fantastic
at
job
Empire's
with
Comics
this.
Vault. Thanks, man. I'm pretty good at what I do.
Pretty good.
So,
It's true.
I'm going to say this now.
Uh-oh.
Spoilers.
Big time.
You have been warned.
Gird your loins.
Will be reviewing Infinity War. Not a spoiler-free, I liked it. No, we will be talking about what happened.
Key points.
We will be quoting it.
A lot.
We will be ruining everything for you.
Are we
If
going to
you
do
feel like-
non-spoilers and then spoilers or just full on at the gate?
Actually, wait, Ruru
Hey,
is
Ruru,
in the
what's up,
chat
man?
already,
Hey,
and he
Ruru.
said everything is dead.
My life is a lie.
I'm going to turn off the stream. Bye,
Cut
guys.
the chat. Cut
I'm
the
gonna
chat.
No. But yes, welcome to our Infinity War review. But before we do all that, we do have some other things
We have other things?
that we need to do.
Oh, shoot.
On this week's episode, we are, of course, going to go around the horn. We're going to talk briefly about the comic books we've been reading this week, and I feel like that side of the room is going to disappoint me, except for Curtis.
Good job, Curtis.
What?
Yeah,
When have I
Curtis.
ever disappointed you?
On multiple
don't-
occasions.
Okay.
Don't
We
never
have-
ask that question
We
again.
have video from Silicon Valley where you failed to sing at the appropriate times.
Of you being disappointing. We are also, of course, going to talk about a little bit of news,
had a good
mainly
reason
all
not to
related to our review of Infinity War, which we're going to be talking about. So, when we're in a comic book store,
We are.
We are?
we're surrounded by comic books.
It's true.
Thank you,
They're,
Empire's Comic
they're
Vault.
over there.
It's a fact.
They're over there.
This is not
They're one
fake
of our
news.
sponsors.
Right here.
Everywhere. There's going to be free comic books here on Saturday.
What?
Oh, I'm
So
so
when
excited.
we do that, we like to go round the horn.
So many free comic books.
Music. Or not.
Oh,
I thought we were going to get to do it again.
Nope.
I was gonna. No. See, that was last week. Remember? Oh, we did the.
Oh yeah, because you guys had
didn't have
nothing.
anything.
All you had was an iPad.
Last week was like casual Friday with the Crusaders,
Aw.
except for it was Monday.
So
was
when
so
we go
casual,
around the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, except for the fact that we no longer have a circular table. We've actually, I don't think we've ever had a circular table. Right now, we're actually in a V.
we have two rectangles.
We're getting closer.
Yeah.
We will eventually form a
We'll get there.
circle.
Ducks fly together.
Maybe. But when we talk about what comic books we have been reading this week, so I'm going to have the other side of this
Yeah.
panel start us off with the Azorian one.
Why, thank you,
You're welcome.
Odin's son.
Yeah.
I read two
Yeah,
issues.
we're going to be doing
Oh.
those names all episode.
I might.
Okay.
Finished one, didn't finish the other. But the one that's most importantly, I read issue 1 of Thanos Quest upon recommendation
That's
by
mine.
one Curtis over here,
Oh, that Curtis?
the man I
Another
call
Curtis?
Rhodey.
Skipintosh, not on the nameplate.
Skip
I
and
still
Tosh.
don't understand.
Yeah, read Thanos Quest. Enjoyed the first issue. I did not get to the second one, but I will. Thank you. It is odd for me reading like a Marvel story that doesn't really have like the Marvel guys I know. It's just Thanos, and he's getting the stones.
You know him now.
I know who he is now.
Everybody knows who he is
Everybody
now.
I have issues with him, but we'll get to that later. But the issue was really good. I enjoyed it very much.
Was it an intentional pun with issues and issue?
I
might
was
have been.
hoping
Okay.
It might have been.
got all these daddy issues.
The other one that I started was the run of Civil War II.
Ooh.
Just because
yeah.
I was curious about a certain character, what happens to that character in that series, and if it was going to happen in the movie. So I read the first 2 issues because I missed those the last time Civil War II came out.
Are you talking about Rhodey dying?
That's the one. Yep. Because I was
Spoiler.
wondering if
There's
that was
no,
gonna happen.
there, I'm not
that
going to
was
say
2 years
spoilers
ago.
ever.
For that one, I was.
I was
I care
curious,
about
so I reread those 2, the first 2 issues of Civil War II from 2015.
Yep.
20, yeah.
Yeah, no, 2016.
2016.
Yeah, statute of limitation,
I
bro.
thought it was 50.
Yeah.
I think it came out during the same time as Civil War the
It was-
movie.
Yeah, it was simultaneous. I remember that made me hate Captain Marvel, which I no longer do.
That's right, because
She's pretty-
Captain Marvel and Tony are rivals in that. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's what I read, preparing for a certain film that came out this past week.
Ruru, I also cried when Ant-Man died. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm assuming it's my turn. We're just gonna go.
Yeah, we go in a circular fashion.
Oh right.
Oh God.
Even though we no longer
Never
have a
mind.
circular table.
Turn that back on.
So I read
Oh, yeah,
two.
let's do
I'm gonna start. I read a DC and a Marvel. I'm gonna start with the DC. I read issue 45 of Wonder Woman, and she's facing off against Darkseid, and actually single-handedly. Spoilers for those of you who haven't read it yet. She single-handedly defeats Darkseid. And the last panel. The only reason I really bring this up is the last panel. It shows a figure kind of shadowed, and he's like, "Who am I? What am I doing here?" And he has you know that it's Darkseid, but he doesn't know who he is. Like he evaporates, and then he shows up on a beach, and he doesn't know who he is. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen there. And then I read Avengers issue number 690. They've been pumping them out one a week for ever. This Wednesday is issue 1. They're going to do a soft reboot and kind of get back down to the basics. But this was just kind of like a wrap-up issue. A lot of the extra Avengers team members were going on their separate ways. And it was a pretty good wrap-up. The Grandmaster actually ends by trying to recruit the Black Order for something. So that kind of ties into what we're talking about today. I'm going to hand it on over to my...
Well, question. When Darkseid woke up on the beach, was he wearing flip-flops and a nice Hawaiian shirt?
He was shirtless. Again, they used yourself as a model.
Thanks,
so
that's great.
I hope they paid you for that.
I love the way you think my physique is. That's why I love you so much, man.
That wasn't that one.
Because I think my physique looks that way too.
I'm going to hand it off over to Rhodey over here.
Hey, Rhodey.
What's up? Man. Mostly, just still been reading a lot of Infinity stuff. But the only thing I'll talk about, because I'd rather, cash in my time on talking about the movie, is I read on stream for you guys. You can go back and watch it. Warlock and the Infinity Watch, issue number 9. And it ties in a lot with Thanos and Gamora and their relationship. Is really deep. She gets raped. Yeah, it's a pretty serious book. Yeah. But it's really good. Again, Jim Starlin takes very sensitive issues and trauma and pays them with a lot of respect and care.
Nice.
So I would say read it if you haven't, and it'll give you a good insight as to why, or kind of give you a little extra peek into Thanos and Gamora's relationship. And you can always just go back to our stream and watch it. I cover 2 video clips with Nebula and Gamora before I read the book, because it ties into their relationship as well as Daughters of Thanos.
Nice.
Over to DB.
The other thing that you can go back and find is a conversation that Curtis and I had. We had a little thing called the Infinity Boot Camp.
Yes.
It was entertaining.
We told you everything you needed to know about the comics leading up to Infinity War. So for that, we read Thanos Quest, just like Steve.
Mm-hmm.
I read those 2 issues. I read the Infinity Gauntlet. I read Infinity War.
Yeah.
I did not read Infinity. I did not even read Infinity Crusade.
Or what?
I didn't read, or Warlock and the
Entity.
Infinity Watch, or Entity. I did, however, then read Infinity by Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
So I read everything, and just because I wanted to be absorbed. I mean, if you check our Instagram, I definitely watched the majority of Phase 3, along with the sprinklings of Phase 2, all day of when I saw the movie. I had 4 streams going. I was all about it, so it was pretty fantastic. So, Amy,
Before we go to that,
Last but not least.
I would like to bring up Drew's question that he had in the chat.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. So
Yeah.
Drew asked if you want to read the comics the movie took from. Ooh, that's what we were talking about. So if you check out the Infinity Bootcamp, we talk about Thanos Quest, Infinity Gauntlet, and Infinity. Those are the three main ones. Infinity War, not really so much. Those are the main ones that the movie seemed to have drawn from. Infinity Gauntlet, of course, and Thanos Quest are pretty much that's what the movie covers, him getting the stones, and then him using them in not quite as robust fashion as he does in the Infinity Gauntlet. So you can check that out. Yes, those are the ones you want to read. Amy.
Before Amy goes,
Did
I disappoint you this time?
Yeah, every time.
All day or day.
See?
Oh, you mean with the no? You read books. I appreciate that. You're just a walking disappointment otherwise, though.
Well,
Good
every
guy.
team's got to have that guy.
That's right.
Amy.
That's why you call
He
him
had a
Banner, I
thing.
guess.
Yep.
Did he not have a
that
thing?
was his thing. He asked if he was a disappointment, which he is.
Oh.
Don't be a disappointment. What's your thing?
I get to be the disappointment in the room. Hey.
Hey.
So, I didn't read any of my comic books this week.
Oh, I'm glad you went last.
And there we have it.
Yep. And I read 2 books.
Oh, books.
Start to finish. I read School for Psychic by Casey Archer. It's the first one in a trilogy. That was really good. And then for giggles, I worked on, what was it? The Geek Girls and the Nerds That Love Them.
Is that a giggle over there?
Those, yeah.
That's good.
Cute.
So books don't have pictures, right?
No.
Oh,
They may have one illustration or two depending on the book, but typically no.
I like that. I bet this looks really funny on the stream because I'm looking over here, but you guys are over that way.
You are looking.
I should have
on
switched
screen.
that. Anyway, it's reversed, whatever. Because everyone's like, what's David looking to off screen? It's like, I'm looking that way, but it's that
There's
way.
somebody over
It's
there.
us.
Yeah.
I'm just
Whatever.
waiting for you to lean and put your hand in the camera and like gently caress Kurt's face.
How is that happening?
So,
It's like Thor Ragnarok when he keeps running in circles.
exactly.
which is
Yeah, it's
something
like a
that
circle.
kind of does a
Like
reoccurrence.
a freaky circle.
Magic. Boom, magic. Boom, magic.
Got it.
Boom,
Magic
magic.
with a kick.
Magic with
We're
a
not
kick.
talking to that yet because we still have one other thing because I already mentioned
One other thing.
after we
Thank
do
you, Ruben.
Round the Horn, after we, talk about comics, we of course have to cover a little bit of news.
Ah!
Yeah.
So
Not a lot of news.
Who got the email from Clarence? This
We
week?
have Clarence.
you have clearance from Clarence to proceed.
Yes.
That's the name.
Clarence is the name of the news
Clarence?
orangutan.
Clarence is news orangutan, man.
Didn't you apparently
You
didn't
weren't-
keep
did you not
tabs on?
watch?
Yeah, he didn't.
And remember, news orangutan. He knows now.
Yeah.
He's aware.
He's not a
what,
monkey.
What is there something shorter than just calling him news orangutan?
We can just call him Clarence.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, so
Clarence.
only 2 news stories this week. One, Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer drops tomorrow. So
Holla, holla, shakala.
Instagram, Marvel Studios posted a funny little video where all the Marvel heroes in Infinity War asked where Ant-Man and the Wasp were because they were not in the film. Spoiler.
Because this weekend, Marvel had such a rough weekend. They said, let's just drop the Ant-Man trailer tomorrow.
Yeah, it was painful. They didn't really do well. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, the official trailer is going to come out tomorrow, not just the teaser. That's all that really is. That's the news. I'm excited for it. I'm going to watch it. But the real news,
Bingo.
Avengers Infinity War.
What?
You ready for this?
I think I've heard of that movie.
They broke
Yep.
all the records
Wham.
across the board.
Blammo.
Biggest box office opening weekend took that from Star Wars: The
Bye-bye.
Force Awakens, and it's like, it's like when an American wins gold and silver in the Olympics. It's like, we both, because like Disney is just like, our kid beat our other kid,
Yeah.
and we're still making billions of dollars.
Number one Americana pop culture. It's superheroes and Star Wars.
Exactly.
And there you have it.
So, past Force Awakens, biggest Saturday in history with $83 million. And AMC Theaters actually reported that in its 98-year history, it has never had an opening weekend this big of any single movie.
Bam.
That 83 million was 16% above the previous winner, which was Jurassic World. So that's telling you,
Wait, the
making
old Jurassic
bank.
World?
No, the new Jurassic World,
I don't know. I just gotta check.
the one that with Star-Lord.
Yeah.
So that's
Jurassic World,
that's the news. The news is that Infinity War is making all the money. So let's go right in and talk about Infinity War. So spoilers. Everyone say spoilers.
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 So, spoiler alert: we are talking about Avengers: Infinity War. Some of us saw it multiple times. Who saw it more than once?
I did. I just came from my second
We
viewing.
also okay. Who saw it more than twice?
Yeah.
Kurt,
There he is.
Curtis, how many
Himself.
times did you see it?
4.
5.
Five.
Mr.
Oh,
Infinity.
I'm kidding. I've only seen it 3.
3.
Oh.
Mr. Infinity.
Or
Doctor
you
Infinity.
used
I was like, I'm like, you know
used
what?
to it.
He went in, went out, saw another one. Went the next morning, went in, went out, saw another one.
No, I saw it twice in the same night, and then I saw it once on
I
Saturday
knew it was
night.
twice.
That's
in the
how you
same night.
Infinity
It's
War.
always
Yeah,
twice
that's
in
how you do the Infinity War. So the reason we are down here at Empire's Comics,
It's because we yell.
yeah, is because I have a baby at home, and we cannot be so excited
We just can't hide it.
as we are.
We go yell!
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mute our mics just for a second.
Oh.
And we're just gonna scream a little bit.
If you
okay?
read lips, I'm sorry for the swearing.
So we're just gonna kind of on the count of 3. We're gonna go 1, 2. And we're back. Thank you for that brief pause.
Tony, come on.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if the mics hadn't muted? And everyone's just like, we're done. We're not watching you guys anymore. It was terrible.
Speakers are blown up!
Probably would have killed anybody that had headphones.
So, yeah, my wife including. So,
Silently screaming.
Avengers Infinity War is the 10-year in the making,
Oh.
3rd installment in the Avengers franchise, 18 films before it. Did anyone not like it? Just I want to get anyone. All right, Manderson, you can leave.
Just kidding.
Flip
I'm
the
just
table.
kidding.
Wait for that. Wait
I'm just
for
gonna
the,
wait. Here we go. I'm just gonna turn off your nameplate and you can walk out.
I'm waiting for someone to
I
type. Meh.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I like that Ruger's like, I want to see a nerd riot for Avengers 4. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So
We didn't start the fire.
it was always burning.
I had to deter. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good. No,
Now you're singing the song in your head and not focusing on Infinity
no,
Wars.
I don't even know
Where to start?
where to start.
At
so
the beginning.
So first off, everyone dies.
Yeah.
The majority of the people die.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, real quick rundown. In this film, Thanos gets all 6 Infinity Stones. He snaps his fingers, and boom, half of the universe is dead. Now, here's my question. Here's my question for you
sure was
guys.
very rundown.
So
It was
he had
bad.
already gone to a couple planets and like cut them in half just by murdering them. Now, did they then lose half? Or they let out like a quarter of their population? Like that would just suck.
Like the
If they
guy-
already gave up their half, and now they're gonna have to give up another. Anyway,
That one guy messaged you about.
Come on!
yeah, come on, man. We were doing so good.
Maybe they actually wouldn't care because he did point out that Gamora's home planet, it's a paradise now. So
Yeah.
like, oh, we have less people. This is fantastic.
Beach, everyone!
Less blood. Everyone just turned into ash.
Dark side, come to the beach, come on!
So
Oh,
this film, in my opinion, was perfect.
Beautifully
It was
made.
nigh untouchable. The Russos did a bang up job. So right off the bat, favorite scenes.
Oh.
I always like to do favorite scenes just because that can kind of get the conversation rolling. And if you have, I mean, we can always come up with others. Please try to keep it to at least 1 or 2.
I'll be
Because I know how you guys work.
How many different scenes were in the movie?
I think a
wait.
movie is in theory made up of 100 million scenes.
So
Okay,
if
I have
somebody
100
takes
million
my
favorite
scenes,
scenes.
You can come up with
I
another
can
one.
come up with another one.
And you could say, oh, I liked that one too, and then this one. That's
Okay.
the way the game works. So Steve's.
I have a feeling
Oh,
that Steve
you don't do that to him.
Tony
Yeah,
and
I want to
might
see
have
to
having
start off.
problems. He's
No,
having
because I don't think it's
problems.
his favorite because I know the scene that tore at his heart.
No, he's like hardcore thinking. Don't do this to him. It's
okay.
Look at the face. He's letting Manderson
most
touch his
heart-wrenching
chest.
scene. That's later. Favorite scene. The scene that got you the
Wait,
most
wait,
excited.
we are doing heart wrenching?
No,
That's later.
No.
Can I go
We're not.
first?
Yes,
now.
Amy, you can go first because
Later.
Steve's is taking his sweet A time.
I wanted to make sure what our categories.
Amy, what is your favorite scene?
I got more than one, but
Okay,
the
what are your
first one.
2?
But the first one's just for sheer visual effects. Shall we talk Stormbreaker?
Ah, Stormbreaker.
That silhouette up in the sky, which happens to be a cover. Oh, it was really good. And when we do the whatcha with Steven, the multiple arms, and we switch out with the astral projection and the whips,
Oh yeah, that was dope.
and that was just cleanly done.
So you're talking about these things. They were visually impressive.
I do like me.
It's as if this movie was a CGI.
Masterpiece.
There-
No, say masterpiece?
What? It was not a CGI masterpiece.
I have a couple of nitpickies about that, but for the most part, I would agree.
Oh, I mean, if it's okay.
Thor and Rabbit team up movie. Let's do it.
So, Steve's, do you have one yet?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What's your favorite scene, bud?
It's the battles. It's the fight scenes. The battle in Wakanda, like just military running in, Steve and T'Challa running side by side, like bamfs that they are.
Do people still say that?
I do.
All right.
Because we can't curse.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
Dane Cook is gone.
I know. I'm taking it.
He works for Pixar.
The way the plan was working up against Thanos with Tony and Steve and
I have a question about that. Should I ask that later?
Yes, ask
Okay.
it later. We're letting him like,
that
well,
whole moment.
happy place.
Scratch it.
Oh, okay. Let's go back in time and get
Use
rid of
the
those
time
two
stone.
that- Okay,
Use the
cool.
time stone.
Sounds good, man.
When Cap first appears.
Thank you.
Oh,
favorite
that was
scene
your
too.
favorite.
I like that you just picked like the majority of mine, and you like I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go back. So
You
you
just
could use
remembered
all
because
those
he
because
said
they're
he screamed.
okay.
Barry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Barry.
He said he screamed when he saw the train.
You see the silhouette, and then that old Avengers theme hits as Steve Rogers' face appears. In comes
That's-
sliding is Romanoff, and then Sam comes flying in
Help arrives.
with the theme playing.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Oh, man.
Goosebumps.
That song.
Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum.
I blasted that in our workspace before we started the day, and I was just like, let's do this.
I
Let's
may
go.
have yelled, "That's my America! That's my America!" Right there. I may have yelled that.
I'm glad I wasn't in the theater with you now.
I'm gonna go just so I don't lose my scene.
Sorry, Barry.
Curtis did
I realize
so
that.
good.
I was gonna leave you one too.
I got one,
Sorry,
and I
Barry.
don't know if anyone else is gonna like this because I loved it. So, the first showing we went to, the crowd was into it. Like they would cheer when people would come onto the screen. Like they would laugh, they would gasp. Like, and so my favorite scene, because I called it since the end of Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yep.
When they're in the bomber and Red Skull grabs the cosmic cube, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it killed him." No,
No, it didn't.
It teleported him to the other side of the galaxy. And when that shadowy figure says, "You are known, as are all who come here seeking what you seek," and it zooms in, and it's the frickin' Red Skull. Not, however, played by Hugo Weaving.
Not yet.
Yeah, it was an actor. I can't remember his name. He's from The Walking Dead, and he worked tirelessly.
Oh, Aaron.
Yeah, and he worked
To mimic
tirelessly on mimicking Hugo Weaving's German accent. So basically, he's like, not only is he mimicking a German accent, he's mimicking Hugo Weaving's less than perfect German accent. That was pretty fancy that he managed to get all the way to that.
There is
So-
a video online of him just doing a list of impersonations of actors, and he nails.
Oh yeah,
every
it's
one
that
of them.
guy.
That's that guy.
Yeah. So he was phenomenal. Like when I first saw it, second time around, I was like, okay, I can tell that's not Hugo Weaving now. But in the moment, I was
I
like,
thought
wow.
it was Hugo.
Yeah.
I love that because Red Skull is one of my favorite villains of all time. Captain America, one of my favorite heroes, and I loved that he was still there. I knew that he was there, and the fact that he's the one basically guarding the area where you get the Soul Stone, that was just.
I will find his.
Yeah.
That's the one that I left you.
That was,
Curtis
Curtis knows me too well.
I was like, he's gonna want that one.
You know what?
And if you didn't say it, I was gonna say, can I say what my second one was?
Yeah, I definitely screamed. I called it in the middle of the theater.
Ross
Yeah.
Marquand is the actor.
That's who
Ross
it is. Yeah.
Marquand.
Yeah.
So Curtis, just because you left me that one, I'm gonna let you go next.
All right, cool.
Manderson, you're a disappointment, so you can go last.
I'm not the disappointment still.
Predictable.
You gotta come with the best one, man. That one was definitely one. And at first, before they fully revealed his face, and I think they did this intentionally, when he was walking out, I saw I saw things on his face, and I was like, Doom. I thought it was Doom at first,
okay.
before the light fully went to his face, and I was like, Red Skull, yes. I was just like, that one got me.
Yeah.
I almost jumped out of my seat when I saw Red Skull. But outside of that, my favorite one was the very last scene in the movie when Thanos is done and he walks out and he sits down, just
farm.
like at the end of Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah.
and he looks out and he kind of like, has that relief on his, look on his face, a relieved look, and he kind of smiles a little bit, and then it just cuts to black.
Yeah.
Like they had like that a little sigh, like it's time to rest. Like
Yeah,
finally,
like,
yeah.
and on the seventh day, he rested.
Don't you?
After he killed everybody.
Right, but that's the first
no,
thing
you're right,
in
you're
the
right,
Infinity
you're right.
Gauntlet, right?
I
It's the
know.
first thing, God.
Yeah,
Right? And
yeah.
on the seventh day,
Yeah, you're right.
he rested. And
right.
that's what I love so much about
Right.
Jim Starlin's writing. It does stuff like that.
Yep.
And I just love, but even within that, my favorite thing was the sound of the crowd. Everybody like, "Gah!
Yep.
What?
Yep.
No! I was like, yes,
Yeah.
heck yeah. I told all you guys to read it and you didn't listen.
Curtis is like, everyone's gonna die. I knew it. I knew it.
I just wanted to yell, and they ain't coming back. But I didn't do it.
Can I just say that one thing that I wanted for predictions came true?
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, I just wanted Scarlet Witch and Vision to kiss. And I talked about it in our last episode, and he's like, yeah, you'll get that. And I was like, I better.
I wanted them to. Moving on.
Manderson.
I was happy to see him and
Manderson,
not ready.
what was your favorite, my friend?
Well, I'm in agreement with the Steves when Cap first showed up. I remember like that happened, and I'd been enjoying the movie and I'd been laughing at stuff, but when he showed up, as
That's My America? Did you know
as
that?
you all know that have been hanging out with me, I'm not a very emotional person. So me being emotional, I'm sitting in the theater like this, and this is how I watch movies.
Just
And
stoic
my
as
wife
all
looks
get
over
out.
and she's like, "You're enjoying." It's like, "Yes, this is so good." So that was my number one.
Everything
but
about that scene. Everything.
also the interactions on leading up to getting on the spaceship between Peter Parker and Tony Stark. Like, there's the wizard, go get him. On it, Mr. Stark. Whoosh, and he takes off. And then he's like,
There's the wizard.
I'm having a hard time breathing. We're
Running
getting
out
up
of
in air.
air.
You're running out of air to
makes
breathe.
sense.
Oh, that
go.
makes sense.
Let go, I'll catch you.
In that moment, by the way, one of my favorite things that I did not realize until the second time around, because I was watching Tony so intently when they're on the ship that all of Tony's movements are being mimicked by the Doctor Strange's outfit.
Yes.
His cape.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it the first time that it's literally doing the exact same when he like looks and he like does that like the
The
cowl
finger
and
and
goes
the
like,
what and the
like
It's the
Wow.
goatee. I think it's the goatee.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was-
it is.
I love that that Cal has like it's its own character.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
just a
It
lot of
is
fun to
it
have
is
that
equal
there.
parts the broom from Fantasia and the
Aladdin's carpet.
and the
Carpet
carpet
from
from Aladdin, and also the dog who was the footrest in Beauty and the Beast.
Aw.
It is all of those things.
Not the coat rack. You picked the dog.
No, I picked the dog because I like dogs more than coat racks, I guess.
Then coat rack.
So on that note, I think the battle for Wakanda, we can all say,
beautiful.
was perfect.
Was-
And the best part about it is there were two parts of it that were just so incredibly Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yes.
The fact that M'Baku says this will be the end of Wakanda, and Okoye basically mimics the line.
yes.
Like, she basically mimics Theoden's line, that we would have it be such an end that it is worthy of remembrance. Like, she basically says, like, it will be like the greatest ending in history. It's like right there, and then when they
T'Challa yells.
God, yeah, instead of yelling Forthe Lenge, he just says, Wakanda forever! And then everyone
Oh
just
my
charges.
God.
And I was just like, I was losing it.
Doing this.
I knew, because as soon as they showed that swoop in angle and the
Yes.
monsters started going around, I'm like, they're gonna have to open the barrier, because how else is this gonna happen? They're gonna open the barrier.
They finals. They did exactly what you need to do for military tactics.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yes, the whole the 300 thing, the
Yeah.
narrow
It's a
path.
fatal-
Which,
it's called a
The choke point.
yep,
It's the fatal funnel.
Well,
it.
I'm calling it the choke point.
it's called the fatal choke point funnel.
Funnel, yeah.
Fatal funneling choke points.
So I know we could just go, and Manderson, do you have any more?
No, I'm gonna keep it that too, just for time's sake.
Give me one more.
Okay.
We got a little while.
Shoot. Okay.
Now you're gonna take the sweet time. Now,
No, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like that opening scene, even though it was really hard to watch,
Oh god.
it was very well done.
it set the tone for the entire movie. I didn't expect so many, like so much. I've been referring to it as brutality because I feel like it's some of the more brutal things we've seen in a Marvel movie. But
Yeah.
just the way that he kills Loki, like it's super personal. And it's not like, oh, you're just another person. Like, nope, you were supposed to serve me. You failed me. And now you just tried to betray me, which, by the way, I saw coming. You're going to feel this and you're going to see it coming and it's going to hurt.
And along with that, what I give credit to is that Loki still remained what he was, mischief, but for once not toward Thor.
Yeah.
Like his mischief was directed at Thanos, and for once it was actually like he didn't screw over Thor this time. He died, but he was meaning to still help his brother. So it was like that was like Loki's last act of somewhat retribution.
Yeah, his last trick.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially VJ's pointed out, like, right before Thor was like, you really are the worst brother. And then he kind of like,
Amy, raising your hand.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Because I also have something to add. Tom Hiddleston's representation of Loki was so perfectly balanced that when he grabbed him by the throat, he did exactly what a weasel, what a rat would do. The movement of his body was no longer about preserving his brother. It was about self-preservation. And watching the struggle, which was almost to the point of comical, was so brilliantly balanced that I was just like, oh, I knew you're going to die. And I knew you were, you're not currently a horse, but
Mythology for you.
Yeah.
The movie was riddled with Norse mythology. For
it
sure.
was, and we loved it.
So
But
now-
it was so great. It was so wonderfully just.
Now here's the question. We got favorite scenes.
I'm facing the mic, dude.
What is there anything that you guys didn't enjoy or any issues that we had? Amy, your hand went up way too fast, so you get to go last because I'm disappointed with how excited you are to talk about stuff you didn't like.
There was only like the one thing, and he's gonna take my thing.
Anderson, you went so incredibly slow. That means you're not exactly 100% like confident doing it, and you're afraid that I'm going to hit you.
I was trying to move so slow that my movement was imperceptible.
Perceptible to the naked eye. Get him some popcorn.
Are you gonna eat a nut while you're doing it? I am invisible. All right, Anderson, what did you?
Hey, Drax.
Do you have any issues?
Amy, I'm sorry.
jerk.
The CGI on
On you.
Hulkbuster when it's Banner's head just hanging, I was like, that's the
you
one
guys are
thing
so
that I'm
gonna
just
get it
like,
now.
that's all right.
Oh,
Up until this
yeah,
point,
that
it was
scene,
it
that's
was
right.
seamless.
Okay,
and
so
there was that.
it did remind me kind of Amazing Spider-Man when
Oh yeah, Paul Giamatti.
Paul
in the
Giamatti
Rhino
was the
suit.
Rhino
Part
and he
two.
had popped out. I'll give you that. It didn't look perfect.
I was wondering what you meant about the CGI and Hulkbuster, but I forgot about the moment where Banner's head pokes out.
Yeah,
that's
where-
That's
where-
the old,
best.
like, that.
Okay.
Give you that.
Does anybody else have any problems? 'Cause I think otherwise we're pretty much happy with it.
I just have a heartbreaking scene.
Amy, you have two, you threw your hands up again, so that means I'm not going to let you go again because I have one thing. It's more of a continuity thing. It's not even that I didn't like it, because in the beginning when they're doing the distress call, so we don't know where Valkyrie is first off, because Valkyrie, unless she was piled on a bunch of other bodies and they just didn't care to show Tessa Thompson, she might be somewhere else, but. It seems like they killed all the Asgardians on the ship, unless they launched them out beforehand. It seems like they killed all the Asgardians of the ship, then they blow the ship up. And then later on, when Thor meets the Guardians, he says he killed half my people. And at that point, I'm kind of like, wait, did he ship them all in escape pods? Like, they didn't clarify that.
Yeah.
And it's not, it doesn't bug me, but I was just kind of confused. That's the only thing where I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not sure what they were supposed to be going for there. So that's the only thing where I was kind of like, wait, is that just was that a mess up? Was it a script thing that they didn't go back? 'Cause there's always little things that even in these massive blockbusters, they don't go back and fix. Like Last Jedi, that, one of the Praetorian guards, all of a sudden one of his daggers disappeared. Back on point though. So it was, Amy, yes. Stop throwing your hand up so fast.
I'm going to wave my hands in the air and wave them around like I just don't care.
That's a song.
Oh. I thought you were throwing your hands up in the air singing "Hey-O."
We got to let go. Yeah, besides the
Sorry.
CGI head, there was an inconsistency about a missing sweater that I think nobody noticed but me. So when we're in the park with Tony and Pepper and he takes off his sweater and puts it around his shoulders, they phase and it is gone. You're welcome.
Oh, that's what goes around his waist. Yeah.
Now it's not even
Oh, no,
on
it's
his
not even
waist.
there. It's
No,
gone.
it disappears completely.
Wait, I thought
And it's not even on the ground.
he put the hood. Wait, what? Hold
So
on.
he takes off his jacket.
Yes.
Puts it over his
And
shoulder.
he puts it over his shoulders like
Yes.
this, and then she taps on his chest, and it's like,
Cut
you
to
wouldn't have
her.
needed this, and
Cut
he
to him.
opens it, and then they cut to her, and there's nothing on his shoulders, and then it's not there
It's like
anymore.
Jurassic Park
Further
with the
proof.
door being open, door being closed. With the two
Further proof that this movie was so perfect that the only thing we could find is
I have 5 things like that. I didn't even name them because if it doesn't make
Because-
the movie worse,
yeah.
That's
Because-
the
I don't
only
even
things.
care.
Like, literally,
It's
I mean,
because that's all we could. It's like we have to. If we had to nitpick,
We
they're
have
so
to
incredibly
nitpick, that's
small.
it.
Yeah.
And there's next to nothing.
Yeah.
It's so it's little things like that. It's like a continuity thing in where it might have just been when they edited it, they flipped it around, and so he was wearing the jacket at one point.
I love that
On the
Ruger's,
editing.
Yeah,
Ruger's-
she's
he's a
absolutely right.
billionaire. He could throw out sweaters. He doesn't.
just tossing them to homeless people, and they reappear later on.
It's all day or day.
So I see this conversation happening in the chat room, and I do want to address it because
got
I know
you.
so many people texted me, and they're like, "Star-Lord, I hate Star-Lord. Like, why did he do this? It's his
Because he's
fault."
a kid from Missouri.
Because obviously he gets super emotional, and his emotions cause half the universe to get killed.
And his
Yeah.
bubble
But
gun.
the thing that everyone has to realize
Bubble
is, even though he did screw it up,
It was going to happen.
it had to happen because
Yeah.
Doctor Strange says
the one
Yeah.
outcome where we
says
win.
he
Of the
says the
4
one outcome will
billion
win.
such and such
He
such.
says this is we're in the end game now, Tony.
That was my
which means
favorite.
that in
Yeah.
the vision he saw,
This had
he
to
saw Star-Lord overreact, which was, albeit, I guess it's if people are really that upset by it, I'm not upset.
Now-
by
we
it.
call him
I'm
Mr. Lord.
Yeah.
To go along with that scene, what I loved so much was when it comes out that Gamora's dead.
Yeah.
The angle we have is a side of Peter Star-Lord, side of Thanos. And over here, we got Tony and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, trying to get the gauntlet off. Tony, who 2 years ago was in the same shoes that Star-Lord is in when it came to Cap and Bucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let his emotions take over.
Yeah.
So Tony, well aware of what happens when his emotions takes over, sees Peter going down the same route, and he tries to stop him. I love that part. It just shows
Focus.
Tony, he's grown. He knows what happened last time. He understands where he's at, but this is more important. You got to stop. Don't do this. But I love that scene. I love that moment there. It's foreshadow, flashback, whatever. Yeah.
I feel like anybody who's upset by that, like as an objective viewer, like yeah, you got emotional and you let that get in the way of stopping Thanos from completing his plan. But even me, somebody who doesn't always show my emotions, if the woman that I loved was killed by somebody,
The other
I
me.
know I would go ballistic. And I'm not as emotional as Star-Lord.
Did you know?
I'm not a dancer. He is.
Aw.
So, but I would still go ballistic.
Tell him about the dance-off for the universe. The dance-off for
Like
the universe? Like it Footloose? Yes, exactly like Footloose. It's still the greatest film
It never
history.
was.
It never was. I don't want another pop culture reference out of you the rest of the trip.
That was early.
Now I'm just cutting all these all
For
over.
everybody that feels like that, all that tells me is that the Russos did their job because they wrote that scene. That
Exactly.
didn't accidentally happen. They
wanted you to feel that.
Yeah, and people like, hey, like you are seeing past the fact that this is a movie and you're so emotionally invested that you're like, why did you do that, you idiot? You got half the people killed, almost as if you're in the movie.
Exactly. That's the purpose.
That's how well they did it.
They did Civil War with the same issue. You're meant to feel the perspectives from either the crew, from Star-Lord. You're meant to feel what they're feeling. And it's understandable. Whether you think it destroyed the universe or not, you understand why Star-Lord acts that way.
And we have to be angry at Star-Lord because most of the other people who were there when he caused that are dead, including him.
Yeah.
So it's like there's
And
no
Mantis.
one's gonna guilt trip him because he dead. They all dead. Like the only ones left are Nebula and Tony, which is such. I really looking forward to what the two of them do together.
She's gonna kick his ass.
That's gonna
It's
be
hilarious.
a fun little sitcom
get back
thing.
to Earth?
Yeah, a little odd couple that we get to see. Now, Curtis, you being the Infinity Gauntlet,
Infinity guy.
the Infinity guy, that's
Dr.
what-
Infinity.
Dr. Infinity. I feel
Oh,
like Dr. Infinity is already.
that sounds
anyway,
like a character. The
that
Infinity
exist?
guy just sounds like something he needs a jingle to.
Infinity guy.
Copyright.
Infinity guy.
I like it.
Copyright Kid Hater.
So, do you think now, because Nebula in the comics, Thanos resurrects Nebula but keeps her in like a constant state of undeath?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
basically
yeah.
traps her in
That.
her own rotting body, which he's kind of has done in the
did that
movies
in the
by
movie, yeah.
rebuilding her over and over
Yeah.
and trapping her in this body. Now, the question is, do you
waste
think in the
of
next
parts.
Avengers, is she going to take the gauntlet?
At the very least, in some way, they're gonna tease it. There's gonna be a nod to it.
She's going to like look at it or something?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if she. I wouldn't be surprised if she did take it. But I'm not expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Can we also point out that she called Mantis?
yeah.
She's like,
that was interesting.
new best friend Mantis.
Mantis is the one that she reaches out to. I thought that was pretty fantastic. So now the big thing Tom actually brought up in our group text today. The gauntlet is a little worse for wear.
Yeah.
Doesn't look all
As is like the whole.
As
left
is his
side
whole
of
arm.
His body, yeah.
So first off,
Cancer verse.
in
Cancerverse.
in the comics, the Infinity Gauntlet is just his glove. Like it's not a thing.
his
Yeah,
dishwashing glove.
Yeah, it's just his yellow glove that he puts the stones on. And as now we learned here that Eitri, the king of the dwarves, created this gauntlet for him.
Also, he looked fantastic.
And that gauntlet is wrecked, and so is his arm. So now, does that mean, because the stones are still okay, the stones probably still have their power, but it's kind of like, you put so much power through this conduit, the glove, that it shorted out.
It takes one hit, and that's all it's good for.
So does Eitri have to make a new gauntlet?
Can we talk about what? But there are more gauntlets in the forge with Dinkle Giant.
Dinkle Giant.
I'm picturing now Thanos at his shed trying to see if it still works, but not able to make the snapping sound. Just, come on, nothing there.
That's a.
Aaron Carter hated that they nerfed the glove.
He also hated that Gamora was a love interest.
Well, that's
But they've teased that since Guardians 1, though, haven't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Well,
Maybe since then, yeah.
Unspoken
otherwise,
thing-
she was just the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. That
She's
popped out
the
of the
fiercest woman in the
fiercest. No, but she's the most dangerous woman in the galaxy in the comics. And then she just pops out of the Soul Stone, and that's her thing. She comes with Adam Warlock and Pip, and they just pop out of the Soul Stone, and
They
they
pip him with it.
Oh, yeah.
are
That's
there
right.
suddenly.
Yeah.
So. I'm
Torn.
not I wouldn't say torn. Torn's not the right word. I'm on the fence about the status of the gauntlet because it is. I mean, it's a good plot point that the gauntlet is basically destroyed and so he can't undo it because that's his way of focusing the stones. Yes, Amy.
Wouldn't, in essence, in using the gauntlet, half of the universe has to die?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that mean half of Thanos has to die as well?
Oh well, I mean, if you're talking like 50-50.
Because we think about it, because of the destruction of the gauntlet, because it is worse for wear. It looks like it got ate up by a whole bunch of moths, which means
Oh, you're saying his arm is
his
half of him dying.
half of his purchase.
No. Remember, he's God. He can.
He ain't a god. He ain't a god. They told him that. What did Loki say?
He will never be a god.
And then he became a god.
watch this
And
movie?
then he became a God.
And then he became a god, and then he killed half the people. No, but no, because it's
He can make it happen however he wants.
he
to.
could
Like,
decide. It's not random. It's not just hey 50%. He probably didn't micromanage. He probably didn't say hey I want these people to die. But he said all right cool 50% of the people gone, which would be hey don't do anything to me. I think it's just residual from the power coming out of the stones, which makes sense. Because here's the thing: if they didn't nerf him in some way, if they didn't downplay, if they didn't make him mortal, like if you read the comics, I mean the way they go about beating him, it works in the comics. It wouldn't work in a movie because in the comics the whole thing is that he can't sense Adam Warlock because Adam Warlock is like outside of his cosmic awareness and all the other entities, eternity, chaos, order.
Can I get
They
some
all
eternity, please?
they all attack and basically overwhelm him so that they can try to steal the gauntlet. That just wouldn't even make any sense.
Right now in the
on-
MCU, that wouldn't. I mean, it would.
I mean, you already got the Grandmaster and the Collector as just normal dudes.
Yeah.
you know, you didn't make them elders of the universe.
I could see like the mainstream audience who doesn't read the comics, just like the movies, going, "What eternity? What does this mean? I don't get what's happening." I could see people getting lost.
Yeah.
If you went that direction with it.
Well, that's just a reminder. This is not the comics.
Exactly. It's inspired.
It's inspired by the comics.
Exactly.
This is its own universe. So yeah, nerfs, buffs, blah 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 blah. They did what they had to do to give us a story. Because if we, I mean, like we could really. It's an interesting thing I've noticed. Like movies are so good now that like we're kind of spoiled a little bit, and we could sit up
Spoiled's
here.
an
We could pick it up. We could pick it apart. I bet you if we really sat up here, we could really like find a way to make this movie be null. But then like, why did we go see it? And why
Why
did
do
they
we see
make
it more than
and
once?
Why do we see it twice or three
Yeah,
times?
3 times.
You're not going to get a comic book movie that's going to copy what the comic issue did because you're just copying it. Then you
Except for
take-
Watchmen.
Except for Watchmen. Except for Watchmen. That's true.
You know what? That's actually a really valid point. It was perfect.
Typically, you take inspirations from the comics and build your own story off of those inspirations.
Yeah.
So you're going to see things like, yeah, that was in the comic, but they're going to go their own route with it.
Well,
And that's even the same thing with books. Like
Exactly.
as so many
Yeah.
movies get adapted from books,
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey and everything else. It's never exactly Ready Player One. It's never exactly like it. It's an adaptation.
Jurassic
they either
Park
do a good job or they do a
would
bad
have
job.
been
just
4
said.
hours rated R.
Aunt May isn't hot in the comics. That's a perfect example.
Exactly. And I love how hot she is in the movies. I love Marissa Tomei.
Why does she have to be so old? She's an aunt, not Grandma May. Okay.
Oh, I always thought it was great Aunt May, and they just didn't want to.
Wasn't it great Aunt May?
Oh, was it
No,
Great Aunt May?
she would have been based on her age.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I love Marissa Tomei. I love her.
Yeah. Anyway,
Not complaining about hot Aunt May.
But it's true, 'cause
Nobody is.
don't we all?
Now we just got to deal with hot Aunt May doesn't know
Vinny.
where the heck
Yeah.
her ward is.
yeah, well, that's gonna be
He
great.
went on
If
a trip.
Oh, if he has
And that's
to.
it.
If he has to, if Tony. Well, man, we don't know this.
That's
shit
what I'm
live.
talking about.
You know,
Yeah.
you can't. Well, that's the other thing. Tony still. Everybody knows Tony is missing. That was already there. There's an attack on New York, so you know May signed him off on that trip.
She's freaking out.
She's freaking out.
Well, she's dead.
Well, that's
She
what
can't-
I'm about to say.
Is
That's
she still alive?
Yeah.
But
Or
that's.
dead.
But
Or-
why wouldn't they keep the hot Aunt alive? Come on.
Think
Come on.
of the dramatic, emotional moment. Let's say Tony, he finds a way back to Earth.
Of course
He
he's going to.
will.
There's
He's
a
got
laser
Nebula.
beam.
She can drive
laser beam,
anything.
boom. And he has to make that walk
Yes.
to the apartment,
And knock on the door.
slow knock, and a distraught, crying May opens the door, and Tony has to tell her what happened.
Yeah.
I see that scene happening.
I'm down for it.
Oh my god.
I think the whole
RDJ and
But if it don't
Michelle
happen,
can
I'm
pull
cool
off
with
that
that.
scene beautifully.
I think we're also overplaying the fact that Tony is stranded because all it's going to take is
A little bit of time.
Thor, the now moving Bifrost.
That's true.
Yeah.
He could just basically be like, "Hey guys, I'm super powerful.
I'm going to get stuck.
I can pretty much kill Thanos, and I can teleport myself anywhere in the universe. Kind of overpowered. I better die because it doesn't make any sense for me to keep going in the Marvel universe." Yes, Amy.
So somebody had brought up today when I was talking to them, because Groot is the handle for Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
If we break off a wee bit of Stormbreaker's handle, can we regrow an entire species, aka regrow?
Another Groot.
In the comics, they did do that.
That's exactly what I remembered.
Yes,
Hence, I wanted to put it out.
they
to
smashed. They smashed. So the way they wrote Baby Groot into the comics was Big Groot gets blown up. Rocket grabs a piece of him, plants it, and then the mysterious figure grabs all these other shards of him, plants them, which is why he stays Baby Groot and he doesn't grow full size because his energy is being sucked away into growing all these other Groots.
He's Grootacular.
So
Yeah. And then the gardener fixes it at some point.
They're answering my question there regarding Tony and Peter. In the chat room.
Thanks, chat room.
Yeah.
We love you, chat.
they're just going on. I mean, we could just
Do you want to
screenshot
go
them.
get to my heartbreaking scene?
I don't really
We-
care about your emotions, but
Can we also address that everybody on
Wow, that
that's
was as
currently on
heartless as
tonight
I
are all
normally am.
parents?
yeah, we got a lot of parents on here.
But I think Steve feels it a touch more because he's got boys.
Oh, so
And
Steve.
so does Manderson.
So why is it heart wrenching?
Hold on, let me focus.
No,
What's heart wrenching?
The Tony Peter scene.
Oh,
dang.
That was the hardest eye
watch
roll
this
from
movie
Curtis.
Kurt,
Damn.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
You know why? You know why? Because Curtis is like, I got daughters. I don't care.
I'm over here like, I gotta
Verified.
go.
one less boy I got to point a shotgun at.
Yeah.
That's fair.
While I'm in the theater, like trying to call my parents, see how the boys are as that scene's happening.
And Kurt's
So-
like,
Is
nah,
everybody
you
okay?
did.
The scene we're of course referring to is Peter Parker dying in Tony's hands.
You mean David Tennant leaving his doctor as the
Yes,
doctor?
except not. But because he's the Purple Man. But Steve's.
He's Barty Crouch.
What was, first off, what was your theory
So-
about why his scene was so drawn out and painful?
I had noticed that of all the scenes of everyone disappearing, that the scene between Tony and Peter was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A little more time focused on that. And of course, it's dramatic. It's Tony has mentored Peter. It's like he is like his son. The other part of it is that Peter has spider sense. So he feels that coming before everyone else. Now, mind you, he's not this god from Asgard or the super soldier. He's a teenager in the middle of his high school life who now has this sense that he's about to die.
Yeah.
Imagine how you thought about death when you were in high school.
I'm thinking how I think about death now.
Right? And he's feeling that coming and he can't do anything about it. And all he can do is hug the closest he's had to a father since Uncle Ben died. He has
Man that
Tony
he's
Stark.
idolized.
Man that he's
Man
idolized.
that took him under his wing,
Yes.
mentored him, brought him in, calls him Underoos, teases him,
And
loves
when
him.
the smartest tech guy in the world can't save Peter Parker, all they can do is hold him as he disappears.
Tech guy or tech person?
Tech person.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Because
tech
Shuri would
person.
be.
That
She, as of right now, she's the smartest.
Yeah, so
Because they
Tech
couldn't
person.
even figure out how to put the stone in
Second
vision
to Shuri.
properly.
So
Okay.
tech person.
tech person. But
Also, hey Sherry.
to just hold Peter as he disappears, I mean, that just the emotional impact right there. I'm like, I was thinking of my boys.
So now-
making
now-
sure they were okay.
Now, Curtis, as a man with a daughter, two daughters, and a man with a daughter,
Lady with two daughters.
Well, but you're not. You're hang on.
Oh, you better watch
No, hang
yourself
on.
because the chat's gonna
Hang
get
on.
you.
The chat ain't gonna touch me because I always cover.
You're married to one of the people in the chat.
Yeah, but I always cover myself. When have I ever been caught off guard and said something inappropriate or wrong in this almost 100 episodes?
Kurt,
Never.
check that.
I
So
am nigh
while they're arguing about
untouchable.
that-
My point is that as a dad with a daughter, the dad throwing his daughter off of a cliff may have
There
been
we
more
go.
emotionally
Now we're talking.
impactful to him.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Amy,
Absolutely.
How does that?
anything to add?
Yeah, and we want to talk also about that.
like right in the middle of both
She would
these
have rather
scenes, 'cause I have
died
a
than
son
deal
and a
with her abuser.
Yeah. Oh God. No. 100%. But that's not my point. My point is.
Oh no, because the throwing off the cliff wrecked me as a mom because the choice was the in those two positions if he started becoming more human
Okay.
we're looking at the fact that he had, and he says it, he had postponed what he had wanted to do prior, even for you. And the entire time he's calling her little one. He doesn't call her Gamora ever. Because to him, all he sees is the little girl standing there going, where's my mom?
Yeah.
And for him, in that moment, that's the person that he loves best. That's all he sees. And he's got to essentially throw the thing he loves most that gave him a center, that built some small bit of humanity into him, off the cliff. He has to sacrifice his soul for a soul. And essentially, even though it's her sacrifice, it's his soul that he's giving.
But my whole point was
Because
Curtis,
you're boys.
No, Curtis would care more about that than he cared about
Yeah.
Peter. Because he didn't care about Peter. That's my whole point. You guys took this in a completely different direction, which I appreciate because it's 100% valid. That she's more willing to handle that, and he's got that. But
I'm mad about it because I love Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
I love Zoe Saldana too.
Also, the slow mo fall. I was just like,
yeah, when that just cut out, when the sound is cut out, and when Red Skull, when he's like, those tears are not for you. Yeah. And then she's beating on his arm and dragging her, and his cheek crevices filling with tears.
We lost.
And he started crying before he even grabbed her. She was like tears, like basically mocking him, like this is what the Titan has been reduced to,
right?
Feeling that life has betrayed you and all that stuff. Like,
he's a big stupid head, is what he is.
The calm that she had of you asked the universe for a prize and it told you no. I was like, girl,
actually, it told you maybe, but you just got to do this.
Big stupid head.
Yeah.
He keeps circling. But see, that's
Buff Hugs brings up an interesting point that Gamora loved Thanos too.
In a Stockholm syndrome.
It is because
it's Stockholm.
Like the way she broke down when she thought she could.
We got Kurt. We got Kurt on the pop. What's up?
If you read Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch, issue number 9.
Hey.
No. Well, but that's the comics. Within this, it does appear to be more of that. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting though, because if we're talking about that, remember flashback to where we were at the collector's place. And yeah, exactly. When she thought she had killed him, she started breaking down and crying. For that thing too, or in that particular scene. So yeah, their relationship. I mean, do check out number 9. I will say there's an interesting relationship. It's a bad relationship.
So
it's a bad relationship,
to say the least.
I don't necessarily agree that she loves Thanos. I think she was crying like it was just of a release of emotion because now she's free. The relief of knowing that he was gone or believing that he was gone. I think that's more of what it was. It was that side of it versus I just killed the man who was my father. I killed the man who's been torturing me for 20 plus years of my life, and now the universe is safe. I am safe. My sister is safe. The man that I love is safe. Like all this kind of stuff. That's what that's how I took it.
It is. I mean, in also the fact, and I was talking with one of my girls today about that. She would rather die. She was, if we talk about everybody's asking their significant other to kill him, and it's or like, look, I know I love you and you love me, but this is about everybody else. In the sequence on Nowhere, where she's standing there, and Thanos is like, she asked, didn't she? And like he's not going to kill her, and that's more torturous to her than Peter, the person who I love you more than anything. Standing there waiting for him to pull the trigger. And then I think it was bitter. I kind of chuckled at it when he goes, oh, the boyfriend. So Thanos already knew, and he's like, okay, we're going to have the talk. And then it's, I like him, and gone. And
yeah,
notice
that he didn't kill him neither.
No.
Because what's interesting about that scenario those are the two men that love her.
And Peter pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
Peter does pull the trigger.
Yeah, but guess what? And I think for double reasons, obviously because he needs the Soul Stone, but he also knew, that I think he could have pulled probably enough from Nebula to find out. But he had the Reality Stone. Mm-hmm. He knew that nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was literally just Thanos having
balls.
And yeah, exactly. It was a test. Thanos was like, okay, he does have balls. I like him. Mm-hmm. Like the dad approving of the boyfriend.
Exactly.
I like him.
Well, yeah, because as of right now with that action, Peter Quill has what it takes to do what Thanos was trying to do and get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
He has the strong will to do
which
choices.
Everyone who was arguing a while ago, Peter was willing to do it. Huh?
When did Thanos discover bubbles? That's what I want to know.
Butterflies.
He was sitting on that throne back in the first Avengers.
He's cursed with knowledge, just like Tony Stark.
That was
a great line.
That was a great line.
That was a great line.
I'm now picturing
I too am Chris Knowles.
Thanos way back in Avengers up there with the bubble, the
wand.
It's like,
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, how's our Chitauri invasion? What just happened?
failed.
Well,
Stark with a nuke.
Who got a nuke through the portal?
Son of a.
well, I'm gonna throw some bubbles at him. This is gonna be
I'm gonna bubble
a heck
you,
of a
Stark.
day.
That moment too, when I thought it was all over. When I thought my boy, Mr. Stark, was done for. When the stab.
That part is the main reason why I'm so upset that I did not get to see it with you. Because right when he got stabbed, I was like, "Ooh, I wish a Steve was here." Ooh, I wish a Steve was here right now.
Melissa, my wife, was right next to me, and when it happens, I feel her painfully grown for me. I hear Melissa go, "Oh,"
Like that
and
Kavod syndrome
and part of me
or
is like, she's doing that for me. I know
It's like
she's-
the Corsican brothers.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
And I'm
She
just sitting there
feels
like,
it for you.
in my head, I'm like, oh, it's happening. My favorite Marvel
Yeah.
guy, here it goes. It's happening.
Hey, didn't I tell you have Mel on point and have some tissues?
Yes, you did. You sent that message to me, and Curtis.
And I said it's a guarantee.
Yep.
But he didn't die, so I didn't spoil it.
I
for
know,
you.
but I'm like in my head, I'm like prepping myself. Here it is, my favorite Marvel guy. It's over. Game over. Here we
Can we
go.
also talk about the parallel
What's that?
setup
Strange is
for
given the
their,
stone. What?
Can we also talk about the parallel setup between the Loki go for the stab and the Tony go for the stab? Same position.
Oh yeah, trying to go up and
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, Loki go for the stab?
Loki went for the stab with the dagger.
When he tries to flip the dagger and stab him up in the
They do the same exact pose.
Oh, I got you.
So then he breaks his neck versus stabbing him with
Yeah,
his.
wait, Thanos caught it before it even went up, though, right? 'Cause
No,
he
it
caught,
went up.
He caught it, snapped it off, and then shoved it
No,
into his
it went
belly.
up. It went up,
You kinda
and
like right here.
he turned it, snapped it. Stabbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Loki, it went up, freeze, drop, like
Space Stone.
takey.
By the way,
Please.
what mark would that suit be called? Do we even know?
Nano,
The accessories that thing was whipping out while fighting Thanos.
the extra juice.
The
from
whole thing
Friday.
holds Thanos' arm down.
Can you
Imagine all the plastic stuff they're gonna sell.
Right. I'm gonna buy them all.
What I thought of when he brings
Mark
up like
L.
the two
Mark.
pistons and with the two pistons and
And
he
the chug
punches
chug
him
in the face.
and all I thought of was
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
I thought of go to sleep, but I also thought of the house party protocol.
Yes.
Because that was one of the suits that he brought was just the pistons. So I'm like, he just put them all in there. He just dug them all. He just like, hey, just throw everything in there. The super beam and everything.
Ruru, I think, has figured out what mark this is.
Mark the money shot. That's pretty much.
How did you? I'm curious how you reacted when when Captain America's holding up Thanos' hand, and then he just comes around with the other one and just nails him as hard as he can. in
Well,
the
and
head.
that's the other scene where when he catches Thanos' hand again, I'm like, okay,
this is it.
Number 2 Marvel character, here it is. There it goes. Oh God, we're gonna lose him. Here it is. And with the way it happened, like the way the punch happened, I kind of felt relieved. I was like, that's not a death blow.
And that's why I didn't. I like when I saw that part, I didn't think nothing of it because it wasn't like a gut, a knife through the gut, in one and out the other. It was like boom. He could be just knocked out. He
That's
got
what I
super
mean.
serum in his blood.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I felt okay about the punch. I was like, oh, he's okay. Oh, Steve's all right. Steve's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cap's got a good chin. Cap's got a chin.
He can take good
He's
hit.
got a chin.
He can do this all day, as he said.
He wasn't
before.
wearing the helmet, but he could take it.
I can't do this all day.
Yeah. He got to wear the helmet going forward though.
He be
'Cause, I mean,
yeah,
come on, man.
maybe a thicker
Hey,
helmet.
he got to have a bad headache.
He needs what they have in the NFL now.
He got punched by God.
That was a clip.
I want Curtis to be a character in the movie. Man, you got punched by God.
Hey, they got to put me in. Marvel, you got my number. Call me up.
They are currently casting for Mourners for
Mourners, there you go.
I'd be terrible for that. I'd be cheering the whole time.
Curtis
It's
with a mug.
these, get your drops. We're going to Georgia.
And then Curtis be with me going, he got punched by God. He took a shot.
So there's apparently people want us to talk about the Hulk. What do you guys want us to talk about when it comes to the
The Hulk is scared.
The Hulk
He
is
was
scared.
ready. He got pieced up. What's that talking about?
Thanos whooped him, so he's scared.
That
because
opening-
he's no longer the strongest.
Right.
And
That
all-
opening when Loki uses the lineup,
Yeah,
we
we
gotta
gotta
have
the
a
Hulk.
And then
Perfect callback.
when he starts just going to town on Thanos, and then when
Ebony Maw.
yeah,
Let him have his fun.
I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
Thanos is doing Muhammad Ali right now.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
taking the
rope-a-dope.
hits. He's
This is the
rope-a-doping,
rope-a-dope.
and then
Why is he a pose?
I do like though when he's trying to change, and when you see Hulk's face, maybe no, he goes back. He's scared.
Which is also
What
one
do you
of the
mean,
things-
no?
Like you got to think now too. They have somewhat of a better relationship after Ragnarok because, like, Hulk blocked out Banner hardcore. Was like, no, you are not in this to
Yeah.
protect us.
Yeah.
I got to keep us safe. And now he's able to shift back and forth without really like beating himself up.
Yep.
And apparently he's still embarrassing Tony in front of the Wizards.
Barry, I'm gonna reference to Buff Hugs, but can I say the word that he's saying or no?
You
I
can
can't.
say
Okay,
up-
so
yeah.
why is he a puss? Think Rocky 3 when Mr. T whooped the hell out of Rocky the first time they fought. He second guessed himself. Rocky felt he didn't have it anymore. That he doesn't got it anymore.
Confident.
That's what Hulk is feeling. Hulk's never been beaten up before. He
just came
beat.
from being the champion of Sakaar.
Exactly. The champ just got whooped easily by the Mad Titan.
And he didn't have a
he
pretty
doesn't want to
Russian girl
fight him
singing
again
to
because he
him.
doesn't think he can. He doesn't think he has a chance. So it makes sense why Hulk doesn't want to fight. He's having the Rocky 3 dilemma.
And I would
he
like
needs
to-
Adrian on the beach saying when all the dust settles and they're chanting your name. That's where The Rock took it from, by the way.
In regards to the comment in here, where was the Hulk the whole time the Asgardians were dying, waiting for a cue? Considering this was a film, a movie, yeah, because that's more entertaining than him just being in it the whole time. They had to have the
Surprise
the
moment.
Hulk.
Or he could have been the one helping half of the Asgardians
Asgardians
escape
get
in the
away.
escape pods.
Bingo.
All ships have
Big
escape
Bruce.
pods.
He and Valkyrie are best friends. That's probably what
Also,
happened.
there was a Valkyrie in the pile of bodies that he steps over.
Oh, there was, yeah. That's true.
Or at least had the Valkyrie armor.
She had the armor in the face, which could be she was in training, but she's not Valkyrie.
Yeah, because technically, with the exception of Tessa Thompson's character, all the Valkyrie got killed by Hela.
When
we were hella sad.
That's actually
Yes,
so
we were.
that's a really good point that he was trying to get him off on the lifeboats.
I'm just saying, bro.
They
Like,
were-
there's
hey,
ways.
when we read comics, the parts that we don't see, our imagination fills them in,
Exactly.
right? I like these books. I can find
That's
ways
what
to make
writers
it work.
do.
It's easy.
But now, did half of those escape pods just turn into dust? Is that what happened afterwards? Like,
No.
See?
Half of the people inside the escape
Yeah.
pods
Pods
turn
are
to
fine.
dust, and as long as the pods still have a pilot, they're still going.
Oh, what are the
It all works.
pilots?
how much would that suck? You're stuck in an escape pod. You're like, wow, we finally got away from the Mad Titan. And all of a sudden, half the people in the pod just turn, and you're just breathing in. You're like, this is just I want to die.
And one's the pilot.
no,
And one's the pilot. No,
I'd be like,
no.
well, we only had 20 rations anyway.
Is that the? Hey, that's our food. No, it's my food.
That's what
now.
I'm saying. It's literally like he's flying. It's like, all right, everybody, we've got about a week's worth of food.
Oh, we're good.
All right, everybody, we got about 2 weeks worth of food.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
The
Especially
little
if you got that sweet
Thanks,
rabbit.
Thank you, Thanos.
the joke of Bruce Banner not being able to perform.
Yeah.
And just somebody looking at, you're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards.
I really,
The
I
stay
was,
behind Wong was cute.
I loved the relationship that Tony and Steven were developing. And I'm
Yes.
so bummed that at least for a good
called him a
portion,
douche.
at least a good portion of the next movie, that they're not gonna have that.
Team goatee.
Yeah, we didn't have the facial hair bros.
Are you moving your hair? Not at
Not
the
at the
moment.
moment.
But this-
Not at the moment.
That was the tell for me. I'm like, you stand around and move your hair just because you can with magic.
I'm magical. Look at my curlicue.
Oh, when they first meet and Tony is stretching on the.
Are you stretching on the cauldron of the cosmos?
Did you really just say? And then boom, I'm gonna allow that.
I'm gonna allow that. I love the relationship they were developing. So now thoughts
Bringing
Mm.
Wong in
the next Avengers. So first off, real fast.
Before
No,
we
no,
go,
go, yeah.
one last scene. When they're on Titan, and because we did verify it was Titan, it was Titan after all. Hey,
I guessed.
it was
I
Titan.
guessed.
Yeah, Xandar's just dead.
Yeah, Danzar's gone.
I know they do this. They're dead.
I
Yeah,
like
they'll cover it in Captain Marvel. But they were going up and they were fighting when it was literally Thanos against Strange, and Thanos did something. I'll probably use the Power Stone and Strange did the spell and threw it at him, and the whole hit turned into butterflies.
yeah.
And but my favorite part about that is because I mentioned before, like Thanos was like obsessed with bubbles.
Yeah.
He, rather than being like angry, he for a moment was like, oh, like he thought it was like
Yeah,
he almost
yeah,
he's like, I like
That's
this.
in it.
I like this, and he's like, maybe I'll make these next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's just looking for peace.
And remember, Very interesting. Before he snapped, last time we saw Titan, it was in shambles.
Yeah.
After he snapped, he had the power of God. He revitalized Titan.
Back on Titan.
This is
He
true.
revitalized it. It
That's
wasn't
right.
a desolate planet anymore.
Back on its axis.
He goes
that's
back to
it.
But is he the only one on it though?
Huh?
It's just him.
Until he snaps his fingers again and makes some people turn
He's
up.
probably like, you know what? Nah, screw him.
But also, okay, I'm sorry. One more
you're
thing.
good, man, you're good.
Do it.
And I haven't heard anybody say this. This is a reminder. The gauntlet is to harness the power of all the stones together to have godlike power to make anything happen. But he can still use the stones individually. So that reality stone, he can still make people come up. The time stone itself, he can still go back in time. Even if he can't use them all together to have the godlike power, he still has the stone individual power.
So to go off of that with what I think is going to happen in Avengers 4, the Russo brothers had said in an article that there is a hint in Civil War that will play a part in Avengers 4. And what we're talking about is BARF. That's right. Binarily augmented retro framing.
I thought he was going to work on that acronym.
He was going to work on it. I
I
don't think he's
kept
fixed it.
thinking of Spaceballs.
Right? So, that moment in Civil War where Tony gives you an alternate version of the last time he saw his parents. We are going to be we're going to be dealing with time travel in Avengers 4. In order for Tony to know what Doctor Strange means by this is the one outcome where we win, he's going to use that technology to go back in time along with whoever comes with it. To reassess what he's missing, what points Strange is referring to use to find a way to defeat Thanos. Because there are already images of Avengers 4 where we have present-day Tony Stark side by side with Cap in his attire from the first Avengers movie, The Battle of New York. We're going to get a time travel movie in Avengers 4, which is awesome because Silvestri did the music, and he did the music for Back to the Future. We're going to get a Back to the Future theme. No? Well, not that part, but everything else I believe is going to happen.
Like that movie that Baba used to watch?
That Baba used to watch. That's what I think is happening. We're using the acronym BARF to try to either find the clues that Strange is leaving, or to provide like a decoy to Thanos to get around him. That's what I think is happening.
I mean, you sneak up and put that on his head and make him see the memories of Gamora's little girl. You got it, and move for a little while. Yeah. So that leads directly into my point, which is basically like, what do we think is going to happen in the next Avengers? Because first off, I had to definitely
Assess.
no, I had to at the end of my showing.
Drink heavily.
There were so many people that were so angry. Because a lot of them, there were people who they were new to the Marvel movies because of like the popularity of Black Panther, and then they saw Black Panther disappear, and
that was one of my favorites. My friend texted me pissed.
when he reaches down for Okoye, I thought Okoye was going to
was so
disappear,
pissed
and then
Okoye
he
too,
disappears, and I'm like. There are so many people who haven't been paying attention for the last 10 years who are going to be like,
What's happening? What is this?
There was a guy who he bought the shirt, and as he was walking out, he's like, I'm gonna go return this shirt, and his friend is like, why? Is it because everyone your shirt's dead and my shirt's alive? And it's true, because I had to like remind people. I'm like, guys,
It's fine.
they're confirmed for a sequel.
Yes,
Spider-Man's confirmed for a sequel.
Black
There's a
Panther's
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming, and it's not just gonna be Nebula show and Nebula and
It would be fine
Rocket.
if it was
That'd be
Nebula.
weird.
And that goes to show you like how. Yeah, again, this is not because every fandom, if you want your fandom to thrive, and will really grow, it can thrive with a small, dedicated, committed, concentrated group. But if you want it to really grow and bloom, you have to have and invite the casual fan. You got to bring them in because the casual dollar is what boosts everything and keeps us going. And then we get, we have way more comics that we get to read and all that stuff.
I was the casual fan 4 years ago. I was.
You haven't been a casual fan for a long time.
I know, 4 years ago.
You don't
4
get to
years
pull
ago.
that card.
4 years ago, I said.
That card from
I took it every time he's like, oh yeah, as the not comic guy.
I
I'm
was
like,
said- I
did
said-
you put the whole punch in it where like
We
you
did
look
it
at
just
it
like
and
the
you know it's not
driver's
valid
license.
anymore?
I said 4 years ago.
4 years ago, a friend of but no, I was about to bust the function.
I was waiting for that.
But I forgot where I was going.
I'm sorry. 4 years ago.
The casual dollar gives us more comics to read, gives us more opportunity to grow our fandom, which
Absolutely.
in turn does
supports us and allows us to have so much more of the things we enjoy. But okay, quick funny story. Okay, well, probably no surprise.
Well,
I have black
neither it's
friends.
funny.
What? Everybody knew that.
What?
I've got friends of all sorts. of colors, but I got some.
What's that like? You're my only one.
Yeah, well, I will see when you're the token or the Tolkien, because I saw that meme. That was
Where's
funny.
it Tolkien?
I almost just spit my water everyone you said Tolkien.
All right, so two, both of them are ladies, are really good friends of mine. One of them, she did read it. I told her to read it. She read it. She read Infinity Gauntlet.
Nice.
And actually she brought something up to me that I knew because we share it quite often, but I forgot he was on the list. And I have my other friend that she didn't read. I told her to read. She didn't read. She didn't read. She didn't read, Manderson. She didn't read.
That's what
Still not
Steve's
me.
doesn't read. That's his thing.
Still not me.
Because he's not a comic guy. He's a casual.
4 years ago.
He's a
I got to
normie.
stop writing so much and start reading.
I know. I don't read. I just write.
At least Drew has brought up the point that we need filthy casuals.
Hey, mad at me. The one that read was happy, and even she was like, "Oh, I knew Black Panther was gonna go because he was on the list." And I was like, "Oh, you remember the panel that had the list of Cersei,
All the people who were
and-
disappeared. Luke
Cersei's
Cage,
I forgot
all
about
of them.
Yeah.
And then the other friend.
And, she didn't read. Hey, pissed. I said, she was like, I wish I could screenshot and put it up on there. She was mad. And I was like, I sent her a little gif of like Childish Gambino saying, "Oh, my emotions," and she flipped me off. And anyway, that was just a little story I had to share with y'all. Read comics and you won't be so mad.
Seriously, you guys are going to realize that, spoiler alert, in the end of the comic, everything gets put back to normal.
Yeah.
Right?
And you could be that person that feels like, it's fine. I know what happens. Talk to me. It's
Everything's
okay.
okay.
That's me. I'm the one who, when everyone like waits to the after credit scene and then they see the logo and they're like, "What is that? What does that mean?" I'm
And
like,
then it's the-
"It's Captain Marvel."
So
I screamed
in my showing, it's a Thursday night showing. If you're there, you should know. People are like, "Who is that?" I'm literally like,
Yeah. Hey, and the theater chair actually fell. That's how mad.
That's what happened.
I am
mad
done
he
with
was.
all of you.
Somebody
how mad
clip
he
that for
was.
me, please. I need that for later.
is how
Clip
mad
that.
he
I can hear my wife behind me. Like, it's Captain Marvel. It's Captain Marvel.
Everyone
And I was
calm
like,
down.
So proud of my wife right then.
My husband will turn green.
Can we actually bring up like not as a closer, but can we talk about the 5-minute reaction, because it's the last 5 minutes of the entire movie. I want to talk about theater reactions for different showings. I've already brought it to you guys, and you guys saw. I think everybody but Kurt saw the just single string of like swearing from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out of my
Going?
showing 82 messages between Amy and Barry, and it's just half of it is just like, what the? I cannot
therapy.
believe the.
Yeah.
And it was
Over and
also-
over and over and over again. It's like, all right.
And I was like,
That's why people don't do therapy by text message.
It was-
and I was like, "Oh, you guys disappointed? No, I had no idea. I hadn't seen it yet. I didn't know."
It was so hard to not say anything. So I had literally, I'm in it. It's the fan screening. It's the 7:00 showing. These are the people that waited in the line to like fight each other for seat, like shenanigans. We get in there and people start screaming at the first one. And T'Challa, the guy in front of me, stands up and starts stomping his feet and is yelling, "No, no!" And then so we're going through everybody through the lineup, right? We get to Scarlet. Wanda fades out. Everyone's kind of like calm, and there's this one dude in the back screaming.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
so
an
loud.
Olsen sisters fan.
He was the only one, but everybody else. So when I don't cry naturally, I didn't cry during my second viewing. First one, I had like 2 single tears roll down, but I take everything like I got hit by a truck. It's all physical tension. I went with 2 other girls, and Carly, I love you, was sobbing, squeezing my hand, sobbing, racked with sobs. It was 5 minutes of literally everybody in a panic, everybody screaming,
Yeah.
people calling for liquor,
Should have therapists
people
out the theater.
calling for
Over here.
trauma therapists,
Over here.
people calling for like everything and their mother, like and I'm happy to say this. If you mix pineapple Ciroc with Sprite, it's pretty tasty.
Putting it down now.
But that's not enough. So
Think about though when Black Panther came out. The hype, the excitement that was happening in theaters.
Yeah.
Now imagine everyone who
complete
felt that way,
opposite.
who then saw Infinity War and they're like,
one of the teachers that I work with, he's a black man, and his father.
So you have black friends too.
Oh, see?
I'm not the only one.
He's a coworker.
Okay. I was about to get mad. I was going to
Joke about not like hanging out with him, and I'm like, no, I love him. He's a great guy. I have a lot of black friends, everyone. So many black friends. I have all the best black friends. I have an African American friend.
There's my
African
American
American
friend.
friend.
Right there.
So one of the teachers, he was telling me how his dad doesn't do movies a lot. His dad doesn't do superhero movies a lot. But his dad went and saw Black Panther because of the cultural importance.
Yeah.
Like, I know everyone was like, oh, what about Blade and Spawn? Shut up. Black Panther was a king of an African country that was untouched by the ravages of slavery. It is
thriving
a
African
utopia
country.
of African culture. So that's why it's so important. I'm gonna get off that soapbox now.
El Dorado.
So Black Panther was so important for so many people, and it brought in so many people. That's why in the advertising, they're like, hey, make sure you show Cap shaking Black Panther's hand. Make sure you show Black Panther running at the camera, because they made so much money. They're like, we need to bring in these other people who weren't necessarily seeing the movies before. So now you have all these people,
And then
who were like not watching, and now it's like,
what?
wait,
Just like that? You
Wait.
guys like that?
I mean, I still get M'Baku and Okoye,
Which
but
I was.
and we don't know if we got Shuri.
I know, but that was the other thing for me too. I was like,
a couple
I was on the fence because when we did the breach, I was like, oh no, I'm
Who's
we're
gonna die?
lose
Who's
Okoye.
gonna die?
And then when he went, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
And then
on
I
ya.
was like,
Flipped it on ya.
Shuri for Black Panther.
So,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Shuri for Black Panther.
Panther.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Absolutely.
because Melissa gets all my movie and comic news from me. Right when Peter goes away, it's like 30 seconds later, she's like, aren't they making another Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, they're making a sequel. Oh, okay.
Not
So she felt good. She was like, okay, we're good. No problem. He'll be back.
Barry, there's a question in the chat, and even I forgot it. In the comics, is Spawn black?
Yeah.
Okay.
So initially, he is after like 200 issues, he wanted to get out of the game, so he killed himself, and another Spawn was chosen, and it was a white guy.
Took up the mantle.
And then it went back to Al Simmons.
Al
Al
Simmons,
Simmons, he's black, his wife is black, his kids are black.
Okay.
Yes.
Different.
Yes.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Farouk
Right.
from the
Nation. Domination. Anyway.
Okay. My favorite was someone else. Ahmed Johnson.
there you go.
Wait, you mean the guy with shoulder pads on his knees and his shoulders on his elbows? He was like a Rob Liefeld character come to life.
Google that.
Yeah,
Nation of
So
Domination.
let's wrap this up, because what I want to talk about
we
is
still got an hour of content.
what do we think? What do we think is going to come out of the next Avengers?
Besides what I said already.
2 words.
2 words.
2 words.
bring it.
Quantum realm, baby.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why Ant-Man and Wasp is taking place right now. Remember, Michelle Pfeiffer was cast as Janet Van Dyne. I think that Scott Lang. I always want to say Hank Pym when I think of Ant-Man, but Scott Lang.
Kunu.
Slapping the bass. I think he looks at Hank Pym and everything that he's done for him by giving him an opportunity to be around his daughter again and whatnot. I think he looks at Hope, who's the love of his life, and says, the only thing missing from this happy family right now is your mom and your wife. And since he went to the quantum realm and made his way back, I think he's gonna do it for them, and I think he's gonna go pull Janet back. Ooh. Yeah, but us going into the quantum realm and having a way to go back through there, he discovers that there's the quantum realm is so far outside of this reality that he might be able to go back to that scene, because I thought I saw him in some of the pictures that were taken on the set.
He was. Oh.
There you go.
I almost sang.
Amy had her hand up. I want to
I
make
just
sure.
have a question.
Yeah.
So, have we confirmed that Ant-Man and Wasp are after this or running simultaneously?
We don't know yet.
Because
It's
Find out tomorrow.
either
Maybe
before
tomorrow we'll
or
find
at
out.
the same
It's
time,
at
from
the
what I've
same
heard.
because, and we'll find out more specifically tomorrow, which I can't wait. So, some of the theory that went out was if this is running simultaneous to Infinity War, someone I have very, very wonderfully sick friends brought up. We've got Ant-Man and Wasp going on. We're moving forward. We're trying to get out from underneath the core. We're going to protect the family. And the snap comes, and it's Scott standing there with Hope and with his daughter, and he poofs.
Oh.
So then Hope gets to raise somebody. That wouldn't be terrible, right? I don't want more children.
So in the quantum realm, that actually brings up a really good point. That makes me think of Blackest Night when the atom goes into the ring.
Out of the ring, yeah.
What if Scott goes into the stones?
Oh.
Because here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking.
Somebody clip that.
So in the scene where Thanos he looks at his hand and the gauntlet is gone and he sees young Gamora and she asks him what it costs, and that's her soul being in the Soul Stone, because that's what he sacrificed.
Because she was his only everything.
So now, but what I think is all of these people, how are you going to have an adventure with them? They're going to be in the Soul Stone. They're going to be in the Soul World. They're going to try to get it out.
They were pulled into the
and
Soul
because
Stone,
the gauntlet is compromised. I think that's how they're going to
Weakness to get out of it. Okay.
get out of it.
Okay.
I dig it. I'm trying to think of the funny things Paul Rudd can say going into the Soul Stone. Just what lines will they have written for it?
The
Like,
same one
what
that
is going on?
The same one that he says all the time. You're gonna need to put this in the shop.
This is your conscience. We haven't talked in a while, Thanos.
At least it's not going to be Dairy Queen always finds out. Or Dairy Queen always knows.
Hey,
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin
Robbins always
I
knows.
have a
Baskin
hankering
Robbins
for
are
some not technically ice cream.
So-
I would like to also, can I bring up what I would like to see, and I know will probably not happen. It's a
What?
far-fetched dream. I would like to see some Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing.
I would
The
like
problem
that
is
too.
the
I'd like to see some Eternity.
deal's not going to go through
Give me
until
some
like 2020. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it.
Dude, I'd be down to see some Infinity if we're going out.
If you're going out that far,
That means when they relaunch this in 20 years, we'll get to see it then.
Yeah.
So when our kids are adults and we get to go see
Don't
it.
bring
The one
that
thing
up, man.
that
Sorry.
could,
20 years.
that
I could
could
play old
happen,
Tony Stark.
because Tom and I were talking about this.
But you wanted to be
they,
Nightwing.
they kind of
Marvel.
they missed the train. Can you two shut up? There's
Sorry.
a mic in front of you.
It's Mike.
That's
what that is.
They missed the train with Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock. He wasn't in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He wasn't. He is at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. His body is being made by the Sovereign. But what I think is the body that they're building is Adam. I think a character named Warlock is
Gonna
in
pop.
the Soul Stone.
Okay.
He's gonna because Adam Warlock breaks out Gamora and Pip in the comics, and then he helps lead the attack.
Right.
But I think Warlock is gonna be in the Soul Stone.
Okay.
Warlock is gonna break them out, and then when he's searching for a body, the way Adam Warlock searched for a body, I think he's
gonna
gonna find the
Adam.
Sovereign.
Okay.
And he's gonna go in there, and then he's gonna come out as Adam Warlock.
Okay. That's funny because what I was thinking, because James Gunn said that they are going to finally bring Adam Warlock into Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. But I was thinking, well, dang, they're about to do Captain Marvel, and Jude Law got cast as Marvel, so they're going to have the Kree in there. They got Ronan and all this stuff. I'm just kind of curious if maybe Adam Warlock pops up in a post-credit scene. They kind of show the Sovereign and all that stuff, and then from there he comes, or at least maybe attach it to the stone somewhere.
Right. Or at the end of Captain Marvel, it's in the future. She's flying out in space. Half the people have been killed. She gets the call from Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Sovereign, or one of the people that's been decimated. She finds Adam Warlock there.
Oh.
Kevin Feige, call us, man.
Finds Valkyrie.
yeah.
Finds Valkyrie and the remaining Asgardians.
We are idea people. We are talented idea people.
I'm just here to be pretty.
There,
By the
I
way,
don't know why
we
I'm
are
here.
pretty
I'm here to be the
talented.
disappointment.
also,
One
It's okay,
disappointment.
Star-Lord.
Balance it
It's
all
okay,
out.
also found a way to sneak in one of Sam Jackson's favorite words without him actually saying it.
Yeah. Mother.
and Robin? Really? Robin had to... Shabatsky?
I love that we had the pager. When that pager dropped.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
So
there was somebody.
Hey, because I'm willing to bet in the movie she has to run off and leave Earth, and in the 90s pagers were
That's all they got.
Yeah. So he just had to beef it
yeah,
up.
that
But
makes
that's
sense.
how. But check this. The other thing is because I heard some other people say, well, what about like Thanos and how is she related to them and how's that going to work? Is she strong enough to beat up Thanos? Remember that Captain Marvel, the original one, Captain Marvel, what was one of the first arch nemesis of Thanos in the comics. And being that Jude Law is playing Marvel in the movie, she's going to get introduced to Thanos through him. So I think once she hears about what's going on, or even wherever she's at, people disappear.
Yeah.
Then she gets a message, and it's from Fury. I think she's gonna smell Thanos all over that.
She's
thing.
gonna have the Stone Cold Steve Austin glass shatter.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
gonna fly to Earth, open a can, stomp a mud hole, and then walk it dry.
you just black out again?
I blacked out. I'm sorry.
That's and actually that's a really valid point that she doesn't have to be strong to beat Thanos, but she can team up with Thor. Because I mean,
And the bunny.
if you make her strong, if you make her
bunny
strong
rabbit.
enough to just beat up Thanos, it doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
But she's obviously, I mean, Captain Marvel is one of the strongest superheroes in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
So it makes sense for her
absolutely. Because I mean, literally.
Let's get some champions. Let's get some ultimates. Let's do this.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I got you.
Captain Marvel and Thanos like literally went toe to toe though. So the power that of the mantle of Captain Marvel can be equal to the power of Thanos, but here's the thing: Braun doesn't always win the fight,
Yeah.
and that's one of Thanos' things is that he would, he's very clever, he's extremely smart.
Can we play Immigrant Song one more time for a Thor
Dude,
entrance?
I thought
Yeah.
when the Bifrost lands and the hammer comes through, I thought it was gonna come in.
I was waiting
And I'm
for
like-
it.
and I'm like, they are not. They are like, hey, you guys used it twice in one movie. We're not giving you the
Led
rest.
Zeppelin's
Did-
like twice. That's
Did
it.
we
One
also
more.
see that there was technically only 2 licensed songs at the end? It was
Yeah.
Rubber Band
Rubber Band Man
and the Black Panther
theme.
That
Yep,
was it.
that was it.
In other words, Sylvester's
Silvestri.
like,
This is mine.
I got
we,
this.
is
we got to
my
talk about
favorite.
this.
But, yeah,
I just
but
came
that
off Ready Player
soundtrack.
1. I gave you some
so
Zemeckis
good.
Cube.
Charge
That
Question
and Forge on the way here.
Question in the chat: do we think Thanos is going to be part of Captain Marvel movie? I think he will at least either be referenced,
I
Or-
think it'll be
or he might show up
referenced.
at the end and pick up Ronan after Ronan's been
We will see Thanos.
You'll
Mark
see
my
him
words,
again.
we will see Thanos. in
young
that movie.
Brolin, like Goonies Brolin.
beat.
He's just
Calm
hogging
down,
all the
Wonder
Marvel
Woman.
right now.
Calm down, One-Eyed
He's got
Willy.
Deadpool 2 coming up.
Yeah.
This Brolin,
He's the man.
He is-
One-Eyed Willy.
He also, I love we could see that when he was emoting. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
was,
He was-
you could
he was-
see
That was
him.
Brolin mannerisms walking around.
It was all over his face.
Now here's the final question:
Oh no!
do we all get thumbs up?
Oh God, yes.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
have enough thumbs to thumb this up.
My toes are up right now.
You can borrow my 2 thumbs. Wait, but I don't have thumbs.
Yeah, you have thumbs then.
And
Anyway, that's
that's
about
what I
going to do
do.
it.
I make it weird.
Because I feel like for an hour and a half we just talked about how much we love this movie.
That was
You know,
great.
enough is never enough when it
Enough
comes to us.
is never enough, but we don't stop till we get enough. So that is about going to wrap it up for this week's episode of The Capeless Crusaders. For the whole crew, that means you guys can still introduce yourself more. But for the whole crew, my name is David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. I am joined at the far right, which doesn't make any sense because of the way I oriented the cameras. I am joined by.
It's you.
Long. You're invited to my wedding. This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
You're
You're already married. I'm so confused right now.
I quote
I
Tony.
know. I'm. Because I can't ruin my own Tony quote, I ruined his Tony quote. I'm Manderson at Son of Mander on the Twitter. I'm going to toss it over to my token black friend. I'm going to get in trouble for that later.
Another token. Oh,
I mean, to be fair, Curtis referred to himself as that multiple times.
I just keep being everybody's favorite black person, and that's nothing new.
You're my roadie.
Perfectly balanced.
You're my roadie.
Like everything should be. This is
Oh.
Curtis at Skipintosh at Existential Romeo.
quoted
Over
both.
to my far left over there.
You quoted Grimace.
This is Amy. You can find me at IJNewRobot on varying social media. And I think I speak for all of us when I say, I don't want to go.
So, for anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can find it at thecapelesscrusaders.com. Right now, if you're in this Twitch chat live, there's a follow button up above our heads. There is a subscribe button up above our heads. You could throw us a little bit of cash if you like to. You can go to our website. You can become a patron of us, which is not like a patron saint. It's like you give us money every month, so we can keep doing this, which is fantastic.
No, you get sainthood if you
You
give
also
us
get
money.
sainthood, yes. We also bless in the Church of the Crusaders.
Congratulations, you're a crusader.
Wait,
I
wait,
keep
what was
holy
the,
water on me
what
at all
was
times.
Deadpool's bar, Saint What of whatever, with all the mercs met?
No idea what you're talking about. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, hello from the past. There's a subscribe button down below. You
Check
can
the
like, you
timestamp.
can comment, you can see what's going on.
Ring the bell.
And if you're listening to this on the audio, we
sorry.
appreciate you. Keep doing this. Keep downloading them so we can get some friggin' sponsors, bro. Anyway, for the Capeless Crusaders, good night.